Universal Lords, Part 7.
The origin and use of the wriggling spine were already known. It was mentioned in the chat channel. The construction of a barracks was not for unrestricted recruitment of troops. The human camp would drop a consumable item known as the Soul Crystal, a necessary material for recruiting troops. Just like Fang Hao summoning skeleton soldiers, he needed 300 beast bones. But beast bones were slaughter materials, which could be used for recruiting undead troops. They were not the primary recruitment item for the undead camp, but rather a temporary substitute. The wriggling spine was the primary recruitment material for the undead clan, serving the same function as the soul crystal. The skeleton soldiers had swiftly cleaned up the battlefield. The supplies had already been gathered. Harvest: 21 iron daggers, 8 wriggling spines, 1 flatbed cart, 2 unicorn corpses, and 1 giant antlered deer corpse. There were more than 20 gnolls, but only 8 wriggling spines had dropped. It seemed there was a certain drop rate, not every corpse had one. Fang Hao had not made the next move, instead, he was deep in thought. There was clearly a gnoll stronghold, or perhaps a camp nearby. Otherwise, the gnoll hunting team would not have appeared. Scouting out their location and military strength had become crucial. Fang Hao himself took an iron dagger and strapped it to his waist. Iron dagger, white. Category: dagger. Attribute: Tier 1 damage. Description: attaching an iron piece to a wooden handle to make a weapon? Is this the product of brainwork? You guys switch your weapons. Fang Hao picked out 20 uninjured soldiers, replacing their stone axes. The quality of the stone axes were also white, but the functions were not the same. Although the stone axes had damage, they did not reach Tier 1 damage. Their primary function was to cut wood. For combat, they did not cause as much damage as the iron daggers. When the soldiers heard Fang Hao's order, 20 of them immediately came up and changed their weapons. "Alright, follow me." Fang Hao continued. It was not time to go back yet. They needed to investigate the location and numbers of the gnoll camp. Rather than wait for the enemy to attack him, he preferred to determine the situation, preparing to take the initiative to attack. Identifying their location was not difficult. Besides the cart tracks left on the ground, there was a path that had opened up in the dense forest. Through the deepest part of the forest, they saw a defensive wall made of logs and a towering lookout tower. There was no significant difference from a human village. Many gnolls were coming and going, cutting wood, quarrying stones, and gathering various basic resources. If there was no protective shield, Fang Hao would think this was also a human territory owned by a special race. Regrettably, it was not. There were other gnoll hunting teams returning. In addition to the bodies of wild beasts on the flatbed carts, there were also humans. Fang Hao roughly estimated that there were about 500 to 600 people in the camp. In addition to a large number of stone throwers, there were also the gnoll warriors with iron swords and the valiant gnolls with iron axes. "Let's go back," Fang Hao said, leading the soldiers slowly back. This camp must be eliminated eventually, but not at present. They needed to gather enough manpower to launch an attack. Back at the edge of the forest, along with the previously confiscated flatbed cart and food, they returned to the territory. Upon returning to the territory, the sun was just overhead. "You guys continue patrolling," Fang Hao said. After pushing the flatbed cart into the protective shield, the skeleton soldiers returned to their posts, patrolling and protecting the worker skeletons from wild animal attacks. Of course, if there were wild animals, that would also be a good thing, as it could increase the food reserve. Tier 1 Warcraft Unicorns *2, Tier 1 Spotted Deer, Slaughter? Slaughter. Slaughter completed, gain 1200 meat, 90 beast skins, 60 beast bones. Apart from the acquisition of wriggling spine, the cart and food also turned out to be a good harvest today. The most important thing was the discovery of a nearby gnoll camp. Thinking of the sizable number of gnolls who were so close to his territory, he felt an unconscious tension arise in his heart. This was not a game. This was reality. People died every day for various reasons. He was not a person who hesitated. He immediately went to the front of the barracks. Level 1 burial grounds. Recruitable, skeleton soldiers. Skeleton soldier, wriggling spine 1. Note, you can recruit troops of the corresponding faction at this building. Upgrading the building level can unlock new soldier types and higher tier troops. Upgrade materials needed: wood 500, stone 720, leather 80, hemp rope 240, shadowstone 5. Previously, recruiting a skeleton soldier required 300 beast bones. Now, only 1 wriggling spine is needed. That is to say, 1 wriggling spine equals to 300. Recruitment available: skeleton soldier, cost, wriggling spine 8. Do you wish to recruit? Confirm recruitment. The system's prompt sounds off again. Successful recruitment of 808 skeleton soldiers due to 100-fold amplification. All camps throughout the territory were filled with the bright flashes of the 808 skeleton soldiers crawling out from the burial grounds. Seeing this spectacle, Fang Hao wasn't surprised, as he had seen it many times before. He continued to manufacture wooden shields and stone axes for them. Some of you go hunting for food, and the rest transport supplies. Take the resources gathered by the worker skeletons to the warehouse, ordered Fang Hao. The group of skeleton soldiers, upon receiving orders, robotically turned around and exited the territory to complete their tasks. After giving these commands, he reignited the extinguished fireplace and began slicing meat using an iron dagger, getting ready to roast the meat. He had already decided to take out the Gnoll camp. Before that, however, lunch had to be sorted out. Eat and drink to your fill. Compared to the meat chunks chopped with a stone axe yesterday, slices cut with a dagger were more suitable for grilling. However, they lacked seasonings and happy water. Otherwise, the meal would be even more joyful. Soon, the aroma of the meat filled the air, stimulating the appetite. Whilst enjoying the tenderly roasted meat, he opened the chat channel to see what everyone was discussing. Does anyone have soul crystals? Undead appeared outside my territory, willing to trade resources for soul crystals. Same here, a farmer got killed by something, and the rest are now too scared to work. Trading resources for weapons. Anyone selling weapons? We're all using stone tools. What weapons could we possibly have? I'm Ringyongning. Whoever can bring me home will be made the CEO of my company. Never heard of you. Who are you exactly? A noodle shop CEO. I'm starving. Is Fang Hao not putting up food this afternoon? My farmers and I have gathered a lot of resources, just waiting to trade for food. Calling Fang Hao. Same here. Same here. Seeing the repeated messages flooding the channel, Fang Hao chuckled wryly. The essence of being human is repetition. Even if the chances to speak are precious, they are taken up by repeated statements. Today was the second day after everyone was transported to this new world. From the conversations, you could discern the differing development speeds of the territories. Most people were still in the initial phase, logging and quarrying, gathering resources. Others, through luck or personal abilities, had established military camps. They had begun realizing the importance of soul crystals. In the human camp, only those with soul crystals could recruit troops in the military camps. But regardless of whether they were recruiting troops or not, food was a necessity. Without an adequate food supply, the loyalty of the citizens would decrease, and in severe cases, they might even defect. The larger the population of the territory, the greater the food demand. Hence, food was a fast-selling commodity. With this in mind, Fang Hao directly put up 2,000 units of food for sale. At the same moment, all chatter within the channel abruptly silenced. Following 2 seconds of silence, exclamations filled the air. The boss put up food. Who said that something happened to the boss? What a rotten mouth. Fang Hao is awesome. Fang Hao is awesome.